Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're 10 minutes away from the next keyword for a chance to get to the Offspring at the Metro this week. Come out and play at the Metro. This will be, of course, the pop-up that usually you get in line, you wait in, and first come, first serve. No, this one you need a ticket for. The only way to get in is at 8 o'clock, 10 minutes away with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And it's this Thursday, the day before the Offspring will play at Smash in its entirety at Riot Fest. So Riot Fest this weekend, too. Crazy big week for Q101 this week. But before we get there, more music news coming in over the weekend. It had to pollute your timeline at some point. The Jane's Addiction fight on stage. Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro. Perry Farrell, of course, when we're talking about festivals, created Lollapalooza and still does it, services that every year. He's still there. He's still backstage running everything for Lollapalooza every year here in Chicago. And he was in Jane's Addiction back in the day, 34 years. It's been really 30 years since they've done a show with the original lineup. They've carried on a little bit. And Dave Navarro, the guitar player who was in the Red Hot Chili Peppers for an album, and that didn't work out too long. He married famously to Carmen Electra, but more recently has been fighting long COVID for a couple years. I mean,
years?
Yes, really in bad shape. He finally gets it together, and with Perry Farrell to reform Jane's Addiction, and a band that I remember fondly as a youth, cranking nothing shocking all day long in my bedroom. So they get on stage, they played some shows, but tensions have been building apparently, and it led to, in Boston, again, this fight video that's on all of our Q101 socials pages, you can see it, but where all of a sudden it looks like Perry Farrell attacks Dave Navarro, the guitar player, in the middle of a song. Drummer kept playing.
So that's not part of the song?
What's that?
They're not just screaming in the song?
No.
Oh.
So now they're fighting right now. And, Perry Farrell got in Dave Navarro's face and then took a punch at him. And Dave Navarro's just sitting there going like, hey, chill, bro. Like, what's going on? And to describe the scene, if you've never seen them, like Perry Farrell is 65 years old now at this point. Looks like he weighs about 90 pounds. And Dave Navarro in that same age range and looks like he weighs about 40 pounds. I mean, these are small guys.
They're flyweights. They're bantamweights, if you will.
What were they getting mad at in the middle of a song? Like, nobody could have even said anything.
That's the point of contention where some people were saying that Perry Farrell was seen chugging a bottle of wine. Maybe it was that related to it. Now, Perry Farrell's wife has a whole different story of what happened. But
okay,
but first,
spill the tea, sis.
But first, before we get to that, I have to know how much I laughed at this fight and watching it over and over again because it took about 4 guys to take down Perry Farrell, he must be wiry strong. One of those, you ever have those guys in your life, or girls, that you look at them and don't think they're strong, and then you actually get in like a little wrestle match with them, and they go, oh my God, they could pick me up.
Yeah.
Wiry strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my husband felt that way about me. Because I've punched him in the arm before, and he's like, that's enough. You're just playing around. He's like, it's not fun. I don't like it.
It's kind of like in Fight Club when he goes, ow!
Yeah, he's like not into it.
You hit me in the arm.
I'm like, sorry, 2 brothers.
Yeah, you never can judge some people that don't look like they're ready to fight. Perry Farrell looks like he can take people down. Or they have to get younger, stronger roadies.
No, those guys look big.
They did, but they might have those what I call popcorn muscles.
Oh, maybe.
Where guys have big arms, but they really aren't that strong. They can't fight. They can't do anything with them.
Yeah, they're just big boned.
They just look good. They just look good with muscles, but they're not really anybody that could tussle.
I just think Perry's been dreaming of this moment for 30 years now. And so it was 30 years of rage that they had to maintain on stage. It was not an easy thing to do.
Well, I would have to say, Perry Farrell with Lollapalooza for this long doesn't need money. I never like to count people's money, but I imagine he's doing okay. And Dave Navarro had the tattoo show.
Ink Master, baby. Not the tattoo show. He had Ink Master.
My bad.
It's a big one.
Big one.
Love it.
And he's had a lot of side hustles. He's had a lot of things where he made money that way. So I'm not saying they necessarily needed to do this for money. However, we're in this big nostalgia wave right now where every band is coming out to do a tour because they think they can all make, $50 million, $100 million. And maybe they can. I want to see Jane's Addiction. I want to go see that show September 24th at the Aragon. I wanted to if it's going to happen. Now I kind of really want to go. I'd like to see a fight and a concert. It'd be good.
Have you ever seen a fight on stage at a concert, though?
I thought about that. I was trying to think if there was one time I ever saw band members fight, and nothing's coming to my mind.
It's way more fun on video than it is in the room. Because I saw a band fight each other at Shuba's a few years ago. It's not fun when you're in the room.
Well, no, because you're thinking like, I'm probably not going to get a refund. And I don't think this is going to continue. It's all fun and games to us. But their concert ends.
Exactly. Like, this was 2 years ago at Shuba's. It was an opening band. It wasn't even the headlining band at Shuba's. It's a punk rock show. So you're talking the headliner played 30 minutes. They played all the songs they have, and they're all 2 minutes long. They played 30 minutes. The opening band, from start to finish, was on stage for 55 minutes because the singer was drunk, the bassist amp was broken, and then in between every song, they would fight each other, and then the guitars would have to apologize to the audience for both of their behaviors, and then they'd play another song. It was the worst concert experience I've ever had.
It sounds like therapy, kind of.
Not to mention a fight at Shuba's, which holds like 100 people.
It's like a fight in your living room.
Well, I was going to say,
It's like they're touching you. You're like, stop it.
I mean, you're in danger. You're in danger of getting hit.
I felt like I was in danger.
Yeah. It's not like you're at any place bigger. I mean, there's not a place smaller than Shuba's. That's why it's great to go see a show there if you like the bands. But, man, that's dangerous.
It was tough.
I do know for a fact, well, I shouldn't say this for a fact. I didn't witness it myself.
Okay.
But when Creed broke up at the Allstate Arena, I heard that Mark Tremonti pushed Scott Stapp down some stairs. And then they went on and played the show. And I guess Scott Stapp was pretty loaded. And I remember he kind of laid on the stage and sang. And that was the last show they did until 10 years. That was 10 years gone. Until
what a bitch move. Push somebody down the stairs, like run.
Well, I don't think
that's like a bitchy fight thing.
Okay, I want to clarify. I didn't see it. And also, someone told me that, but I'm not sure he just pushed him from behind.
And then ran. He's like pissing me off today. Boom. Like, come on.
No, I think they were fighting and ended up kind of rolling down the stairs, but that's how I heard it.
Using the stairs is bitchy. If it's not like, if you're both trying to throw each other down the stairs, fine. But if it's your get out, that sucks.
That's kind of like Showgirls.
Yeah.
When the one girl pushed the other girl down the stairs.
Very bitchy. If what I'm saying. On point.
I think that hopefully that's not what it looked like. Hopefully
I'm
it was.
not like, what a man. He just shoved somebody down the stairs.
So I don't know if you've ever seen a fight on stage. I mean, you can always chime in at 312-591-8300. I don't think I ever have. I'm trying to remember. I have seen. I did see Guns N' Roses, the original lineup where they didn't show up for 3 hours, but the band didn't want to kick his ass. They just kept waiting. Slash, you could see, he kept coming out going, we got a problem on stage. The electricity's not working. Meanwhile, he's talking on the microphone on stage through the crowd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the electricity's working fine, sir.
So Axl just didn't want to come out?
No, he was out at strip clubs getting loaded, and apparently he showed up at about 1 in the morning and then just ran on the stage on all kinds of, medicinal things, and then delivered a killer show for 3 hours till 4 in the morning.
Sounds like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, but no one. I don't think anybody punched anybody.
No, they all sound like they're having fun.
Yeah. So Perry Farrell's wife was side stage, and she went on Instagram to say this, that she said, I thought a first-person account of what happened on stage with Jane's Addiction in Boston would be good here. So she said, who? Perry Farrell, Dave Navarro, fighting. How? Clearly, there had been a lot of tension and animosity between the members. The magic that made the band so dynamic, well, that dynamic was lit. Perry got up in Dave's face and body checked him. Now, she puts this thing, why? Well, Perry's frustration had been mounting night after night. He felt the stage volume had been extremely loud, and his voice was being drowned out by the band.
Okay.
Now, if you haven't noticed...
Well, bands are loud.
They're loud.
I've always said that.
They are. But and Kenzie, you've been on stage, and Case has been on stage, and we do stage announcements. Bands don't crank their amps loud anymore because they use in-ear monitors instead of the big monitors you see upstage.
Right.
So it's not as loud on stage as it used to be, and this helps these guys not go deaf. They have these little, you have your AirPods in. That's what they have basically on stage now to listen to the other guys in the band. So really, bands don't crank too loud anymore, but my guess is that Dave Navarro, being old school, said, well, my amp's not loud enough, and just kept turning it up, and then the bass player turned it up, and then the drummer started playing louder, and before you know it, they can't hear Perry anymore.
All due respect to Perry Farrell, you sound like an old man when your complaints that the stage is too loud for you to sing.
Guys!
I don't know if it's worth, I don't know if it's worth ruining the concert. I feel like you can be like, listen, I'm not going on next time unless I'm part of the sound check to make sure it's the right volume. You could just say something like that, I think.
I will say this, Kenzie, and having been in a band, I play guitar, and having been in bands, the sound check goes on, and then when I got on stage, I still turned my amp up. I just kind of walk over and go, I don't care what that sound guy said. I'm going to be heard tonight.
More cowbell. Damn it.
And I could easily see Perry Farrell going hey, guys, if we could turn it down a little bit. That'd be wonderful.
In fairness, maybe you just couldn't hear him because his amp was so loud.
That's what his wife is saying, that you couldn't even hear him, that everybody's amp was so loud. And Perry Farrell's suffering, like a lot of guys in this age range, tinnitus, which is the ringing of the ears from all the years of playing loud concerts.
Yeah.
That's why I preach people should wear
You didn't hear him
earplugs.
say, please turn it down. It was like,
What? Turn it down.
he was like, thumbs up. Like, yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
This sounds great,
We're
right?
back together. We worked everything out. Bam.
No, it's loud. It's too loud. Turn it down. I know. It's great, isn't it?
It's a big misunderstanding. The whole thing.
Oh, man. So then, of course, no one was hearing Perry, and then he went up to Dave Navarro because he must have had the loudest amp and pushed him. But the funny part is that she puts in her post about who won the fight because people want to know who would win that. She says it wasn't either of them. It was Eric Avery, who's the bass player, who tried out to be the bass player of Metallica many years ago. That when Dave was keeping Perry at arm's length and they were trying to de-escalate and roadies jumped in, apparently Eric Avery came in and just threw some shots in the Perry Farrell.
That's awesome.
So he's like in a headlock by bouncers, and he punched him like 3 or 4 times while he wasn't looking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, this is why I love women. Because look at this post. Who, why, when, where. Let's get into the details. Let's address it. Here's also a funny little anecdote about Eric jumping in. You ask a guy, like, oh, there's a fight. Between who? Guys. Why?
Yeah.
I know, they must have been mad about something. It's like, damn it, I get nothing. Women come with the details, baby. Thank God there was a wife on the side of the stage.
Can I share one more note about this fight before you continue, Brian? I think
Sure.
this is worth mentioning.
And we do have the Offspring keyword here in a second, so hang tight here to get to the Metro Thursday night. Go ahead.
We've covered what Perry Farrell, the singer, was doing, what Dave Navarro, the guitarist, was doing. We know what the bassist was doing. He was throwing cheap shots. Can I note that it was the drummer's birthday while all of this was happening on stage?
Is that why he kept playing?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's my birthday jam.
Yeah, look at- like they're fighting right now. The drummer just kept going until now. Happy birthday to me.
Do you think he was just like, this is going to really ruin my birthday dinner that was planned for after the show?
We had reservations.
Come on.
We were going to go to Panda Express. It was going to be great.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Okay, so last week, and this happened right around 8 o'clock, right around this time on Friday, we had a discussion. I brought up about, I had to sign a will last week. We had to make a will, which was a very tedious process to go through who gets kind of what. Mostly it wasn't about what we have, because we don't, have this big house or anything, but we don't have a house at all. We rent. I got a Nissan Rogue. I mean, it's not even all paid off.
You're like, I want the rent. I want rent control for my daughter. It's like Friends.
We had to decide, though, who gets to take care of Harper, who does take the money and provide it to her, and all that kind of junk. Everybody's had a will, and I haven't had one. So we had to get a will and get it done. So we did, and we went and signed it. But I didn't expect this question to come up in it that threw me off, where the lawyer, we're sitting there, says, select the best statement below that expresses your wishes. Mm-hmm. The quality of my life is more important than the length of my life. That's terrifying alone right there, that statement.
It's a tough sentence.
And then the next one was you can choose, staying alive is more important to me no matter how sick I am.
I'm not leaving.
Which is on brand for me, because I just am afraid I'm going to miss something like another solar eclipse, or whatever. Like a total solar
what if
eclipse.
Jane's addiction works it out?
Exactly.
Come on.
That's so true.
I really just want to be around no matter how long. And I do quote Star Trek when the doctor, after his dad suffered for 10 years, he finally pulled the plug, and then they found a cure 6 months later.
You know what's annoying about that? Is like Star Trek isn't a true story, so they didn't have to write that. They just made it horrible for no reason.
Yeah, it was part
They
of the...
just did that to this fictional guy for no reason.
A guy who was no character at all. It was the
It
guy's
was so
dad.
unnecessary to be like, haha, this sucks. They pulled the plug on you right before the cure.
Well, I don't want to get in the weeds on Star Trek, but it was
Thank
part
goodness.
of it was part of the plot that helped understand what was going on.
I
However,
feel like it was unnecessary to do to him.
so when I was sitting there with my will and they said those questions, my wife instantly said, without hesitation, well, quality of life is important. And then the lawyer and my wife were just kind of staring at me. say quality of life. It's more important. And I wanted to say staying alive is more important to me no matter how sick I am or how many funds I drain. But I couldn't say it because they're all just looking at me. And then even Megan said, my wife, Caring, said, like, hey, it's your life. You should choose what you want. And I go, no, quality of life probably sounds about right. That sounds fine, I guess.
You just wanted to fill that out privately like a voting ballot.
Yeah.
Like, why does everyone have to know what I'm doing until I die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, but if I want to change it now, it's going to cost a couple $100 or something with the will, and I want to change. I really do want to change it.
Yeah.
So if anybody listening, my wishes are what you're hearing now. You guys got to back up. You guys got to go to Megan when I'm dead and say.
Did you just write like a note when you're about to die, and it just like isn't that like a free update to your will and cite it? Does it work?
I don't, because there's got to be witnesses, notification. There's going to be, who are you going to trust? We're the lawyer with a witness signing this.
Okay.
So I don't know if you have that.
You just stick a Post-it note to the fridge,
Yeah.
so you don't have to pay for the amendment.
I mean, am I going to be over at like Lizzie McNeil's at the bar and I'm going to say, hey, I changed my mind. Hey, bartender, come be my witness here.
I think I have to send this audio to your doctor now.
You have to do what now?
I think I have to send this audio to your doctor.
Well, that's true. What if we sent the audio
Yeah.
in?
Is your doctor a listener of the Brian and Kenzie podcast?
Of course.
Okay, well then there you go. I think you're covered now.
Yeah, but what if I'm in like Wisconsin and I get in a car accident?
Hey, if you're in Wisconsin, there's a bigger problem.
I mean, do you really want to live that long if you're no kidding? Damn Green Bay Packers.
Listen,
No.
forget about the Packers. The brats and cheese? Yes, thank you. Put that in the IV. I'll be
I don't
good.
think we have to worry about you living that long. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is a bridge you're going to have to cross.
So I want to know if, with listeners to chime in this conversation at 312-591-8300, do you have a will and do you have your wishes in there? Because I just was really caught off guard by this question. I just thought I was signing over like who's going to take care of Harper, and instead I got in this
Right.
big mess. Big mess. I mean, do you have your wishes, like what you want, Kenzie, what you want done?
Like my death wishes?
Yeah, like for example, when 311 was here in the lounge,
Okay.
I told Peanut, the bass player, that, you guys are doing my funeral. I have that. And he laughed so hard. He goes, well, I guess it'll be last man standing with the band or you. Whoever's alive. Hopefully we all live a long time, and it might just be like Nick left playing acoustic guitar, but maybe we'll all be around. Who knows?
That'd be gorgeous.
Oh, it'd be great.
My problem is like I feel like I don't want an open casket because like I'm not going to look good and I'm not in charge of that.
Y'all look great.
And that bothers me.
Those people
I
do
don't need
wonders.
that to be the last memory. What if somebody dresses me like ass or doesn't curl my hair right?
Well, you can tell them
And
what you
everyone's
want.
like, well, it didn't end well for her. Huh? Like, that's going to piss me off.
You can't trust somebody to put the right dress on and makeup.
I don't know. Like, what if they don't do a good job? What if I look fat in that position? And then everyone's like judgy at my funeral. I'm going to be like super annoyed.
You can't say, like, this is my best side. I want to be on this side.
Just put, like, no, pull up my Instagram. I don't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I would prefer that.
Okay.
I wanted to be cremated, I felt like, because the idea of I'm scared I'm going to be alive and get stuck in the box.
Me too.
I'm super scared of the whole box thing. Because,
Yeah.
like, what if I'm alive? What if we don't know that? What if when you die, your spirit actually stays in your body and then it feels trapped or something? What if we don't know? Okay? So I wanted to be cremated, but my husband doesn't want to be. And I have a problem with that because I'm not going to have, like, some other bitch at the cemetery laying next to him. So I'm like, okay. So I feel like I have to wait to see what happens with him.
I think you can make that in your will. Know some other bitch next to my husband
Like,
in the
that's
ground.
going to annoy me. Like,
But you could probably make that wish.
right.
It's your dying wishes. Somebody
Like,
better
I don't
follow
think
him.
so. So I'm gonna have to kind of see what happens with him first, or we'll have to see the order of operation.
Hope everybody lives a long time. And I'm like I said, jump in here. Case, do you know what you want to do?
I want open casket. I want people to see that I'm gone.
Yeah.
I want to really mess with people's day. I want that to be a lasting image in their head for a long time that I'm finally out of here.
Will they shave your mustache?
I hope not.
I mean, I'm just saying, do you want to have
I'd
the
like
mustache?
to be buried with the mustache.
Okay.
That'd be weird because this has kind of become my look if I went mustacheless into the ground.
That's what I'm saying, is that you have no control over it. I'm not into that vibe.
And then God might confuse me for somebody else. I'll get to the pearly gates. He's like, well, I thought Case was up next, but this guy doesn't have a mustache. He must be going to hell for eternity.
Listen, Kenzie, you don't know this, but I knew Case pre-mustache.
Oh.
5 years ago, he had no mustache. So I think if you're at the funeral home, I'm going to sneak in and shave your mustache off.
It's like a jackass prank.
You know what? Make it like a Hitler mustache. And then everyone would be like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that.
Don't deface my body. I'm not graffiti
This
downtown.
is exactly what I'm saying, though. This is why I'm not doing open casket, because I think that's funny. So what if somebody does it to me? I'd be mad. Because I'll deserve it, and I know that, so I don't want any part.
I promise I won't save your mustache. I promise, Kenzie, I won't do it. Okay, should I take line 1 here?
Yes, let's talk to Amanda, the hospice nurse. She has some advice for you, Brian, on what to do at the end of your life.
Wow. Amanda, ahoy, welcome in. I bet you see a lot. I bet you know a lot about this.
Ahoy, I do. And it's honestly the most favorite job I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
But part of my job is educating people on quality versus quantity of their life. And that's a question I have to ask people every single day.
Okay.
So really, when you're asked about quality versus quantity, it's what do you want the end of your life to look like when you are sick, when you maybe can't make the decisions for yourself? A will, a medical power of attorney, those kinds of documents tell your loved ones at the end what you would like to do. So when they have to make those hard decisions of whether they make you a do not resuscitate or they decide whether they should give you a feeding tube and things like that, those kinds of documents tell them, yes, I would have chosen for myself to get this feeding tube, or whatever kind of care you choose to get.
Okay.
If somebody's asking you if you want quality or quantity of life, it's in the event that you cannot take care of yourself. You can't bathe yourself. You can't clean up after yourself after you've had a bowel movement or urinated. Do you want somebody to, take care of you? Are you okay with being in a chair and maybe having somebody to feed you?
Well, not to stop you, Amanda, but so this just asked if I want quality or quantity. And you sound like there's a lot of details you can add to this and say exactly what you want. And I didn't do that. I just said quality or quantity. And
you said quantity.
I said quality, but I wanted to say quantity.
You want quantity.
I want quantity.
Yes. And you don't want to be judged
think
for
about
that.
Yeah, think about it. Do you want to be like an old, crinkly bag of bones that can't move around unless somebody else moves you like a marionette puppet? Or do you want to be doing things on your own volition, and when you can't anymore, let life naturally take its course?
You know what the problem is with Brian is he knows that he said till death do us part, and this way Megan can't date anybody. And I know that's what you're thinking. I know it.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Seems like a pretty good funeral song. Pearl Jam, Yellow Lead Better.
Yeah.
Especially the live version at Wrigley Field, they went into Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing, which was unbelievable, super emotional. Oh, and I've never seen him do that before. All the times I've seen Pearl Jam, never saw him do that. So maybe that's one of your things you want. I want 311 at my funeral to play, and I've already asked them, and they've said verbally they will do it when they were in the lounge here a couple months back.
If they're alive.
If they're alive. But we all just see who's...
Contingent.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I outlive 311. I never thought I'd say that.
What a mean thing to say.
That's so mean. That is really mean.
You better pick somebody younger. You want Bad Omens or something? I mean...
I certainly don't want Jane's Addiction. They ain't going to make it.
They'd upstage you.
Oh,
I know.
God.
Not good. Nobody would even be talking about you anymore.
So we're talking about, I had to sign a will last week, and I said I want quality of life at the end if something horrific happens instead of quantity, but really I wanted quantity, and now I got to change it somehow without looking like an a-hole.
That's good. You can't be honest, and now Megan has to spend $500 on your mistake.
It really does suck because the lawyer was looking at me and Megan, they were all looking at me I just kind of felt they wanted me to say quality, and I I want to make sure I'm around and see what happens.
I love that because, my problem is I'm like, I don't want to get stuck in the box, but I don't want my husband buried next to some other bitch, so I can't deal with that. So
you got a big problem there.
I know. 312 texted in, love this. She said, my mother is cremated, and you can have your ashes buried on top of somebody else. So if you want to be buried with your husband, that way you don't have to worry about the hole in the other casket. You'll be right on top.
That's
Perfect.
really good.
So I'm really happy about that. I feel pretty good about it.
But he has to die first.
Yeah. Oh, I can make sure that happens. Don't worry. Way ahead of you.
All right. Also on the text line, 630 checked in. I want to be fed to lions and sharks after donating my organs.
That's very nice.
I love
They're
that.
going to be like, God, this person's not filling at all.
A lot of skin.
Yeah. A little cartilagey, huh?
You know
Not
when
a
you
good eat.
You know when you get that like a rotisserie, and like Costco rotisseries are so huge.
Yeah, like juicy.
And if you go and get one that's not big, just let's say somewhere
Yeah.
else, and you're kind of like,
A little gristly.
yeah, not filling.
Yeah.
The shark says that.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
They're not there for the bone and skin, baby. This is horrible. They love a good kidney.
I usually love the flavoring of human liver, but this guy doesn't have any liver.
There's nothing in here.
Terrible.
What a joke.
What do you got on the text line, Case?
Jason from McHenry checked in and said, until my voice and eyes stop working, some unlucky person is going to carry around my old, wrinkly body all day, every day. Which made me think, Brian, if you go open casket, your family's probably going to have to pay more because you're going to need an extra large casket.
Could you imagine that of pallbearers for Brian?
Oh, my God. He's going to need UFC fighters at his funeral.
It's normally 6. You have to have at least 10. You have to have 5 per side, for sure.
I'm 6'4" and a quarter. There's got to be 6'4" people that have died before. They've had to figure this out.
I know, but it's just a lot more work.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 10 pallbearers.
I promise to cut weight before I die.
That's good. Thank goodness.
That would be a
for
little
everybody
lighter.
else.
For
What about
everybody.
like a ramp system? Can we shoot your casket down a ramp into the ground?
Maybe some wheels.
It looks like a
Push it.
bobsled.
It looks like a Red Bull,
Yeah, like
dirt bike
like a
ramp.
street luge. Like a soapbox ramp.
It would just be so much work. Yeah, especially if your brothers are involved because they're all tall like you.
Not as tall as me, though.
But okay, settle down. How does how does a height discrepancy work?
Well, you've never
Because
been
you have to get all pallbearers to be the same height.
I've been a pallbearer, sadly. But have you been a pallbearer? Never been one?
Do I look like I could be a pallbearer?
I think you could be a pallbearer.
I haven't played on the offensive line either. What kind of question is that? You can't be a pallbearer.
Somebody's got to be
You can't
underneath.
pick a small person to be a pallbearer.
You could be underneath, your head holding up, walking underneath everybody.
You absolutely need to be. You have to pick larger people in your life to be a pallbearer. You can't pick the small people.
Not everybody are CrossFit people that carry caskets.
Well, I know. I would pick you. So good luck with that. That's gonna suck for you because you're big. You're not CrossFit. I know that.
Yeah. I'm going to be exhausted.
Brian, are Kenzie and I in your will? Are we involved in your death or your funeral or anything?
No.
What the hell?
I know. Well, I have a lot of family members that are going to take care of Harper. I didn't divide up everything. I mean, if you want my Playboys?
No.
I don't want your Playboys.
What do you want?
He wants your foot pedals.
I'll take your foot pedals.
My
He'll
guitar
want your foot
pedals?
What's the plan with
I
your
want
wife?
Harper. Why can't I have Harper?
You want Harper?
Yeah.
Um,
Why you say it like that? What are you gonna... I want a girl, damn it.
okay, you're going to steal my girl?
Yeah. Oh, I want to dress her up. It's gonna be so fun. I want Harper. Dibs.
Dibs on Harper. All right, you got her. She's yours. It's fine, yeah.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.